I wanted to send a quick screencast. It will take about 5 minutes for me to walk through the ways in which I read the Common Core State Standards broadly. So you can find the standards at corestandards.org. This splash page has lots of information about the standards, things for parents, more particular for your state, and what we're going to look at today, which is the English Language Arts Standards. Now you can download the standards. It gives you a really long PDF, which you can print out the pages that that are in your grade band. And you can also obviously read it here online. We'll take a peek today at the Anchor standards, reading for literature, informational text, and then writing, speaking, and listening language. And we'll take a peek down at the ELA appendices A, B, and C. So first of all, we have the Anchor standards. You'll see that these are standards that trace through and anchor each grade level in terms of reading, writing, speaking, and listening, and language. And they're written a little bit more broadly than obviously the specific ones will be. So you'll see that they're organized into key ideas and details, craft and structure, integration of knowledge and ideas, and then this range of reading and text level of text complexity. So if we take a peek here at the key ideas and details, it'll say broadly, read closely to determine what the text says explicitly and to make logical inferences from it, cite specific evidence, etc. So if we look at how that plays out in reading for literature, we can see obviously a resonance in key ideas and details, craft and structure, the broader format, and then we can see that specifically it says cite strong and thorough textual evidence to support an analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as inferences drawn from the text. We'll also see in the reading of literature things like analyze how complex characters develop over the course of a text. If we're looking at craft and structure, analyze a particular point of view or cultural experience reflected in a work from outside the U.S. And then we can contrast those, we'll compare and contrast, with reading for informational text, where it's a really similar, actually pretty much the same key ideas and details about citing strong and thorough evidence, but we'll also see ways in which it differs for looking at now how the author unfolds an analysis or series of ideas or events, or looking instead now at the determining an author's point of view or purpose in a text and analyzing how they use rhetoric to advance that. In looking at the writing standards, you'll see that the Common Core splits writing up into 3 different text types: arguments, information explanatory texts, and narratives, as well as emphasizing the production and distribution of writing, including the use of technology, including the internet, to produce, publish, and update individual or shared writing projects, taking advantage of technology's capacity to link flexibly and dynamically. We'll also see this is the area for when we're thinking about research. Now, when thinking about speaking and listening, we can see that there are 2 larger headings, comprehension and collaboration, as well as the presentation of knowledge and ideas. And you'll actually see that digital media and technology comes back, especially in this standard about strategic use of digital media. So you'll see that there's a resonance across the standards, and also ways when you're thinking about a particular lesson or a particular unit for you to draw upon the different areas of the standards in order to support student learning. The language standards are focused on conventions, thinking about knowledge of language and vocab. So when you're doing some closer work with that type of language, then you're able to draw upon these standards. Now, very briefly, the 3 ELA appendices will help you think about the research supporting the key ideas of the standards. So they, basically they say this is, here's the statement of the problem, and here's the research that backs how we're answering it with these standards. So you can go ahead and skim through those. The Appendix B is text types, sample text types. So I would go over this with my department, and we would talk about the text exemplars and whether or not we were using those particular ones or different ones, and how the ones we would use would fulfill the state standards. Because either they're organized by grade band, so the stories for grade 10, drama, poetry, and so forth. And then for Appendix C, we are thinking about student writing. And so they actually offer samples of student writing all the way from kindergarten through grades 12 and in the different text types themselves. So I hope this was a useful overview as you think about and use the Common Core State Standards in writing your lesson plans.